Let's go. Are you ready? No. All right, everyone. Welcome to the Zilla Patch Podcast, episode 23. We are with the one and only Ragnar AU today. Ragnar AU and I go a long way back. We've been best friends for a very long time. We are also... we also started Twitch pretty much at the same time. And as you can see, he's a very organized person, having a camera that works. Oh my lord. All right. Well, look. All I have to say about Rags is he's a good guy. He's a funny guy. We've had a lot of laughs over the years. He's one of those dudes that I can always just call him and we'll have a good conversation about whatever it might be. So this is going to be a good one. A lot of good stories to be had. A lot of good stories we're probably not supposed to say. But you know what? It's going to be educational all the same. So I'm going to bring him on as soon as his camera works. And we'll get it organized. Not a lot to say for Twitch. Yeah. It's not, but let's do it, alright? Alright, I'm bringing him in. Alrighty.
Yeah, sorry about that. I just watched my camera just fall.
Look, you can talk to my wall. There you go.
Ooh, pretty.
That's jokes. I got you.
I mean, it's probably better looking than you.
That's fair. That's fair.
Oh, shit.
How are you, mate?
Tired.
Tired? Long day?
Long day. Also, first day back at the gym, so, you know, that's never fun.
Yeah.
I haven't really had the motivation to go back until today. Britt kind of dragged us into it. Yeah, Britt and Sass.
The ladies get together and all of a sudden it's time.
Oh, that's it. They rule the world, right?
Yeah. They tell you what to do, you just need to do it. Excuse me. There you go.
Yep. I heard it out of the door first.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
What'd you just say about me? Love it.
Mate, it happens all the time.
That's it. Dude, thank you for coming on. Thanks for hanging out with me. I love doing the podcast because it's just one of those things that I've been really enjoying. Just getting to know other people like outside of Twitch, but also getting to know people who are, you know, you see their names in the chat every day, but you don't know a lot about them. The difference is with you is I know a lot about you, but I'm not sure everybody knows a lot about you. So like, this is gonna be a fun time. So basically, the first thing I always ask people who come on, why are you streaming? What brought you to streaming? And you know, can you tell us a bit about what you do and why? Just give the lowdown, you know?
Oh, shit. All right, where do I start? I basically stream because I just like gaming and I like to meet people, really. Like, for me in the last year and however long it's been, the amount of people I've met and actually made like IRL friends from Twitch is just astounding. So for me, that's the number one thing, just making friends.
Yeah.
What brought me to Twitch actually was one of the boys at work. So similar to what you said earlier on in the stream, where I didn't know what Twitch was until one of the boys at work, he started showing me all these clips when he was playing Call of Duty and he was playing a bit of Apex as well. And he's like, "Oh, I've been live streaming." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, cool. What's that? Like, what's it all about?" He's like, "Oh, I do it on this platform called Twitch, and you know, people just come in and they watch me play games, basically." I'm like, "Oh yeah, cool." So I looked into it, and then I'm like, "I can do this." Started doing it, and then pushed you into it.
Pretty much, because I only learned about Twitch when you told me about it, because I had no idea what it was.
Yeah, well, that's it. Because like when Modern Warfare came out and we were playing it like every night, I was streaming, and then I kept saying to you, "Mate, you're a better gamer than me. Like, you were getting so many more kills." I was like, "You should start streaming. Your Twitch would actually be better to watch than mine."
Yeah, but like, I didn't even know what it was.
That's it.
I was like,
it took you,
the fuck are you
it
talking
took you
about?
a little bit.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing about me. I'm a skeptic on most things, right? So, like, it takes a lot of convincing to tell me to do things. I mean, the fact that I only just joined Hover today, like, you know, after how many months of people saying to me, "Hey, you should probably get on Hover." Like, what is that? September, do you say? So it's now February.
Well, I think it was September. I know I posted up in my Discord that I had joined Hover in September, and I think that's when both Crow and Kuda Bomb messaged me about it.
Yeah. So I've been well, like literally, like I said, I go on Crow's stream every single day, and like he just keeps talking about it all the time, and I just never listen. So I'm too busy just having a laugh.
The man's on everything.
He's great. Yeah, but that's the
He's
thing.
a great
Like,
guy.
it's all about he loves the grind. You know what I mean? Like, and I respect it. I really do. I would, like I said, if I had enough time to do it, I'd do exactly the same. Like, and I'm sure we, if either of us had the time, we could make similar, leaps and bounds. But the issue is for us, obviously, we have full-time jobs. And, if having a full-time job and streaming at the same time as many hours as we both do is sometimes, like, it's easier for me because, like, I don't have a wife. But, it's you have responsibilities. You know what I mean? So
I'm actually going to be an adult for a certain time.
Yeah. See, as me, I just pretend, so, getting back to the Warzone sort of side of things as well. Like, I remember we both started playing Warzone on stream, like, originally. And it was funny because, like, I started playing because you told me to, basically, because I wasn't really playing it. And, like, I hadn't played Warzone, I hadn't played Warzone before, in period. But
you just played...
I played multiplayer.
Multiplayer and SND and stuff.
Yeah, but I'd never played Warzone. I didn't know what it was. So, like...
Which, funnily enough, Modern Warfare was my first ever Call of Duty.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So my first Call of Duty was Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah.
So, but I played up to, like, Black Ops 3, and then I just stopped playing altogether because I was bored of it. I was like, it's the same shit over and over again. Like, what's the point? So, like, I just stopped playing it, and I started playing different games. And then, and then you said to me, you go, oh, you should play Warzone. And then we got Tom involved, and we got, and then finally Beans came over as well.
Yeah, Beans.
And
Pit Slayer every now and then.
Yeah. That was fun though. Like we had.
Yeah, it was. We had a good crew.
Yeah, and it was funny. Like it's funny to look back now when we play now to when we used to play. We were so bad.
Yeah. When we got like more than 3 kills in a game, we thought, we're just like, we're fucking good.
We're gods, And I'm just like, and then basically, no worries, Mando, thanks, mate. And then basically we got back on. I got on Twitch after you told me to watch Twitch, and the first person's channel I ever watched was Headache's channel. It was the first channel I found because like I don't know, I just found it randomly, like off some Instagram post or something. And I was just like, oh, I don't know what this is. And he had, I don't know, 10,000 followers at the time, so there's a few. He wasn't partnered at that point. And then I was just like...
Oh, wasn't he?
No, he's only been partnered for like 16 months. And that's how long I've been subscribed to him for. So, he was my first subscription. First channel I ever subscribed to on Twitch. And and I didn't venture outside that channel for like months.
No, like, I remember you were always going, watch Headache, this guy is cracked. And then one day I gave in, I watched it, I'm like... Wow, we suck.
Yeah, we so suck. I mean, watching him play, and I watched him like 8 hours a day, bro. Like at work, and like, just on my TV, and like every day I would watch him, I was like the same stream over and over again. And like, he just made me look like an absolute sheep. Like, I was just like, oh my God, I'm that guy that he just killed in Superstore. Like, that's me.
100%.
I'm that guy camping in that stairwell that he just executed. Like, that's, and then I look back on where we played now, then, and I look at the way we play now, and it's just like totally different ball game. Like, holy shit!
I'm still a bot when it comes to Call of Duty.
If you never played as much as I did, I don't think.
No, that's true. And I mean, I haven't played Call of Duty now for probably about 6 months.
Yeah, you moved on to Apex.
I mean, I've jumped on to play a bit of Plunder with Fud and Miss Fud just to muck around, but never anything serious.
Yeah, I get that. It's like I've kind of stopped playing it as much. Like you'll see, I only play probably like once a week now.
Yeah.
Whereas like before it was every day, like every single day, jump in, spend 4 hours, throwing my controller at the window and then stop playing. But it's gotten to the point now. I'm like, there's just so many other games I want to play. There's so many other games that are better than that shit game, so I stopped playing it as much. But I'll still play it. If Blitty asks me, if Rav asks me, I'm gonna play with them because they're my mates and I enjoy playing with them. So
yeah, 100%.
There's no other reason. I've never run a solos game. Like
that's the only reason why I jumped on and played Plunder because like Miss Fud and Fud, they love playing Plunder. Mostly the level up guns because it's easier.
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh, come play with us. I'm like, oh, I'm not doing anything. I'll come play.
Yeah, 100%. I love that. Um, the other thing too, like when we first started playing, and we first started streaming, like, have you ever gone back and looked at your first clips on Twitch?
The one clip that comes to mind, I think it was you, myself, Huntsman, and I think it might have been Pit Slayer,
Yeah.
or it might have been Beans, and yeah, I cooked a grenade and killed myself.
I still have that clip.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put
yeah,
it.
that's
You know what?
like
I'll
one of
send
the
it to you.
first clips.
I
That's
have
like
it
one of the first
saved.
clips that I remember.
Yeah, I have it saved on my computer. I'll send it to you so you can put it on hover.
But also, like, just looking back at those old clips compared to now, just how much both our stream qualities have improved.
Oh yeah.
Like, you started off on your laptop, I started streaming straight off the PlayStation, and then I moved to the laptop and then to a PC.
Yeah.
Whereas you've just gone straight from laptop to the PC.
Yeah, well, like I just wanted to make like I saved the money up, and I said to myself, I'm gonna spend a good amount of money on this, so I want to make sure it's perfect. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna spend a good amount of time doing it. So I was really committed to doing it properly. So like when I first started, yeah, I had the Xbox set up with the cord to the laptop, and I ran Stream Elements or Streamlabs off the laptop, right? But the upload speeds were so bad. So like,
Yeah.
because like my house, my old house didn't have upload speeds that were good enough because I had like Wi-Fi internet, and then so I put everything down in the basement in my mum and dad's house and was using that. But the upload speed was like 1500, like something terrible like that, right? So it was like I was lucky to get like 720. I was lucky to get 720, and it was just like rainy and I was talking through my headset mic, so it was like listening to someone talk through a ham radio. Like it was.
I don't even think my headset mic works anymore on these Astros.
You never put it
Like,
down.
no, like I've put it down, but like you know how when you flick it down and you hear the beep in your headphones?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't get that.
You don't get that
There's no
anymore.
beep. No, and I've tried to use it like just to chat with people and they're like, I can't hear you, so then I switch over to the boom mic.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's happened there, but anyway,
Yeah.
that's I guess that's Astro for
What's
you.
the microphone that you have there? What's the one that you bought?
It's just a fucking eBay spec type one.
Oh yeah.
New
Sounds good though.
Niwa. It's got filters and shit to make it sound better. Cause yeah, it'd be heaps echoey. Because obviously I don't have too many things on the wall. I've got, as you can see, the two canvases just here to my left, which Mrs. Ragnar painted. And then I've got a canvas of my car, which one of my mates took a
Oh
photo
yeah,
of
I've
it.
seen that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so they're the only things really hung up on the wall. Other than that, like, there's not really too much else in the room except for a bed.
Yeah, I was thinking about getting those like music wall dampeners that you can get.
Yeah.
I was thinking about getting some of them and setting them up around me, because the corner that I'm in of the living room, it's all like open space. Like
Yeah, and the fact that you got hardwood floors too.
yeah, it doesn't help. So I'm thinking maybe I'll put like a rubber mat down and like put some like like musical like cut corkboards or something up so that I can it doesn't echo so hard, because I know that I've looked back on a lot of VODs and clips and stuff, and I can tell if I don't have like proper filters on and stuff, it just sounds really awful. So like
Yeah. Look, when you put your mouth closer to the mic though, like earlier on in the stream, it actually sounds decent. So I think because at the moment your mic is so far away from your mouth, that's why it's picking up all the echoes.
yeah, it makes sense.
So I mean, even if you wanted to, I mean, it's completely up to you, but try a boom arm to get it close to your mouth before you go and spend hundreds of dollars on all the sound deadening foam and shit.
Oh yeah, true.
I
I mean,
just-
we'll see
As
how
I
we
said,
go.
man, it's up to you.
Yeah.
Or,
No, it's
just move your whole streaming studio into your dad's recording studio.
Mate, I've thought about streaming from there. Like, so for those of you who don't
You've
know,
said it, and
Oh, yeah.
I'm waiting for it. I want it to
my
happen.
my dad has a recording studio, which is completely soundproof to the point where it's like you walk in and you can hear your heartbeat. Like it's that soundproof, and like
It's crazy. Like the first time I walked in there, I almost tripped out. Like how quiet it is.
yeah, it's crazy.
insane.
It's like and it's right next to a main road, and you can't hear cars.
No, you
Like
can't hear anything.
that's the crazy part about it. And like
You
you can
could murder someone in there. They could scream at the top of their lungs.
never
If
hear
someone
them.
was right outside the door, they wouldn't hear it.
That's crazy, right? That's look,
It's
no,
kind
no,
of
go get any
creepy.
ideas, all right? But like, it is a bit wild. But you know, it's one day what I'll do is I'm gonna thinking about doing like a music stream. So like with instruments. So I was thinking about getting a couple of the guys back together from school and stuff, and actually getting in and playing some music, and
Yeah,
like
right.
just
That'd be
mucking
sick.
around. So I think if we did that correctly and we put the inputs through the computer and everything, because he has everything set up down there, we just have to pretty much load up, you know, the Streamlabs software,
Yeah.
and we'd be good to go. So we could hook everything up through Mixer Desk and everything. We could actually play a proper, you know, 4 camera gig sort of situation.
That'd be sick.
And just have a jam. Like there's nothing crazy. We just talk shit and jam and be silly, but it might be something that's really cool. Like you know, I'm always trying to reinvent things and do different things on stream. Like I think there is definitely an option for that too.
Yeah, 100%. People love watching live music.
Isn't that crazy?
And I mean, especially like with all the lockdowns and shit last year, the amount of people that started streaming live music just because you couldn't go out to see it, it was just crazy, and it blew up.
Yeah, I spoke to
People
my
were
dad about it as well.
doing it on balconies and shit, and just people would crowd around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I no joke, for about 3 weeks straight, that's all I saw on TikTok. Like my For You page was just full of just people playing on balconies or live streaming their musical talents.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my dad obviously is a musician and he's retired, but that was all he was doing.
Yeah,
So the fact that he wasn't able to do that anymore, he's just been sitting at home just wondering what to do. Like he has no idea. Do you know what I mean?
get him onto streaming.
Well, he has a Twitch. So,
I know, and so does Mum.
yeah, so mom has a Twitch, dad has a Twitch. Dad's Twitch is actually like linked up to everything. So he could actually just press live, but he doesn't because he just doesn't think there's enough reach on Twitch for his stuff. So I feel like we could probably help him, but he's just too stubborn to bother. So that's just dad. That's just what he's
Apple
like.
doesn't fall far from the tree, mate.
Exactly, mate. We're very similar, and it's scary.
Oh, it is.
It's too true. Anyway, other than that, I mean, when we first started playing, we had. Remember the 12-hour thing? I was playing it just before. Remember where we did the 12? Was that the hardest fucking thing you've ever had to do? Because it was tough for me. Like, we picked the wrong hours. Let's be honest.
We did.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we didn't even plan to do 12 hours, all right? So we were just like, yep, sweet. We're doing a LAN party. We're all up at Huntsman's place, and you and I were just like, yep, sweet. We're gonna bring our PCs. We're gonna stream this. It's gonna be mad. You did what you needed to do, servicing his car. We got on the beers, and then we started playing at like 2 p.m. I think it was.
Yeah.
And then we didn't go live until like 5 p.m. I don't know why we waited that long, but we
I think
did.
we were trying to like work out the kinks and everything. Like,
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Honestly, it's that long ago now, I can't remember. But yeah, by the time it got to 3 a.m. and we had finally realized what the time was,
oh yeah,
you're just like, fuck it, let's just go 12 hours. Like,
it's 2 hours to go. Like,
yeah,
you know.
we're almost there.
But then,
And actually, that was the night that I hit affiliate too.
it was. I remember. Yeah. 'Cause, well, you got a big raid early, didn't you? I can't remember what it was, but
I think so. Yeah, it wasn't
up to,
a
like-
huge. I mean, it was big for the time, I guess.
it was like 12 people or something, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
it was 12, 8 or 12 or something like that.
yeah.
So
yeah.
that kind of helped push, because a lot of those people stuck around for the stream and somehow counted towards the average view. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, it was good. That I don't think I would have hit affiliate that night if we didn't stick out the 12 hours.
Yeah. 100%.
But hey, we did it, and that also was a real big goal of yours, because you had hit affiliate a month beforehand.
Yeah. I mean, it was interesting to see. Like, the only reason I hit affiliate before you is because I had reach on Instagram. That was pretty
Yeah.
much all it was. Because like you didn't have any socials when you started.
I didn't have any socials. I didn't have any friends other than the ones we were up there with that were into gaming. So yeah, I didn't really have anyone to reach out to and go, hey, can you just like log in and watch me? just
Yeah,
to try and get those views up. So
that's it. So like the only reason I started back up on Facebook was because I thought, oh well, I've got a lot of friends on Facebook, so I might go and do that. So I thought, yeah, we'll do that. So I went on Facebook, had like 600 people on Facebook, and I was like, okay, that'll help. Instagram with the business, I had like another 300 on there, and then when it came to other programs and stuff, I didn't have a lot of followers, but it was easy to build up that by linking all of them together, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? So, and then I made all individual ones later on. So I mostly just used the business stuff and the Facebook page, and I managed to get the 3 average that I needed. And the followers were easy. The followers came eventually. Like that was slow. Like it took like 2 or 3 months. Like, but
I had the followers pretty quickly.
yeah,
It was just the average viewers for some reason I wasn't getting them.
yeah, it took me a while. But then like you know what? We knew nothing about networking.
No.
So
I mean, I still don't.
we were
Let's be real. When it comes to messaging people back or anything, I am terrible.
we were one. Yeah.
God, Sass is helping me out with it. She is so much better than me at that.
Yeah, 100%. Look, I need help every now and again too. So I have a whole bunch of amazing people that are helping me. But the problem is like I always just struggle. Like I struggled with like initially making stuff for that stuff, but once it starts, the ball is rolling and I can kind of like keep it rolling. Do you know what I mean? But like the initial like starting of things like bios and finding people.
Yeah,
on
just
platform,
the shit
it's
part
just
of it of setting
pain
it up.
in the ass. Yeah, that's why it's probably why it took so long to go on Hover, because I thought, how much more effort do I need to make for this? Because I've already got like 8 different social media stuff going. So why do I need more? Like,
Well, I mean, it took you long enough to get on Twitter too, so
I didn't get on Twitter till last month. So that's that's ridiculous as well. Like I think it was the start of December. That I got
start
on
of
Twitter,
December somewhere or late November, somewhere around there.
which is crazy that I took that long to do that, but I have done that. Splash Zone, what's up, dude? Yeah, no, it's wild. The thing I remember the most about, there's a little bit of background. We're going to go back a little bit further because obviously we've established that we both started Twitch at the same times and we're both terrible at social media. But the other thing that I wanted to touch on, we're both mechanics. We're both in the same job. We've both been in the same job for God knows how fucking long. How many years is it for you?
16 or so years, I think.
Yeah, so I started like two and a bit years after you. So
Yeah, like that.
that's fucked, eh?
Ah,
How you feeling?
why did we get in this fucking industry?
I don't know.
Honestly,
bro.
like
I regret it every day. Like every time I drop a spanner in a tub of oil, every time I smash my arm on a a tire or a brake caliper.
the worst is when you're undoing a really stubborn bolt and the spanner slips and you take the skin off the top of your knuckles.
Yeah, it's
That.
Yeah, dude. I mean, like we do this every other day, and we still do it, and we just need to stop doing it.
Yeah,
it's too much, bro.
I thought about leaving the trade probably 6 or so years ago, but then I was like, what am I going to do? I'm not going back and doing carpet and vinyl flooring because I found out I was allergic to dust. So that doesn't help ripping up old floors and laying down new ones.
Everything. So I get you.
And then I was going to go and do a PT course, and then my mate had just finished getting his certificate for PT, and it's now 10 years on from when he got that, and he has not been able to get a PT job.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, so I'm like, well, I'm not going to leave a steady career to go start something that I might not even have.
I get that. I started
just
the PT course.
taking that risk, I think, is what's holding me back.
Yeah, during lockdowns, I started the PT course. I did a Cert 3, and I went to do the Cert 4, and then I didn't do it because I was like, well, I don't think there's going to be anything in this industry. Like, especially when it came to finding a job, a lot of places weren't hiring, and then all the places were shut down, and it looked like at that point, with everything going on around the world, it looked like it was never going to end. You know what I mean? So I just thought to myself, look, I'm not going to spend $1,500 on this course and then not be able to get a job for it for the next 6 years. Like, it just doesn't seem like a feasible option. So I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to get my money back. So I just decided to I did the Cert 3. The Cert 3 was pretty much like, well, $100, $200, whatever. Cert 4 in personal training is the one that is the big one.
Yeah, that's like $6,000 or something.
Yeah.
Back when my mate did it. So I was just like, yeah, I can't justify it. Like the risk and reward side of things, like the risk was way up here, whereas the rewards are so down low. It's just, to me, it wasn't a smart option.
No, I agree. And then being in established careers already, it seemed like a waste of time and money. So
yeah,
especially because I mean, when we were apprentices, how much money did you make an hour?
Honestly, I can't remember. Maybe 14, $15.
Yeah, so you're on much more than me.
I don't know. I honestly, I can't remember. It might have even been $9. I probably made more money when I was working at McDonald's.
Yeah, I remember the starting rate for me was $7.10. So
see, that was more than me. I was getting, as a fully qualified tech, working 38 hours after tax, $602.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, I'm talking $7.10 an hour.
Oh, $7.10 an hour.
Yeah.
Right.
So I was making about $300. So,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No, as a first year, like it was just enough to pay rent. That was it.
Oh, look, mate. The worst part about mechanics is it's the most underpaid trade. Like we bust our asses. Not to mention the amount of heavy lifting we've got to do, like with tires, gearboxes, engines, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then it's because there is no union, so there's never been like an outlash for higher wages as a base rate.
Yeah, we've got.
Whereas like you take electricians, right? $75 just for them to drive out to your house.
Yeah. Exactly.
It doesn't make sense, but anyway.
I mean, this is the thing too with danger jobs. You should be getting paid more money, right? Like technically speaking, if that is the normal, it seems to me like plumbers should be getting paid less than mechanics.
Yeah.
If that was the case,
I mean, obviously, depending on what part of plumbing they do. Like if it's just domestic, fix a tap, like put a new washer in.
Piping and fucking poo snakes, like good for you. Like,
But if you're deep in like shoulder depth freaking septic tanks.
Maybe
you worth more pay.
Yeah. It's just like garbos. They deserve all the money in the world. Like imagine coming home and smelling like garbage every day. Like
it's crazy.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think for most of the trades they have it pretty good. I think the trade that we have. I mean, we do have the AA, which is like a pretty big industry provider for us, like Australian Automotive. But they're not like you said, they're not really a union. Like they're not really someone who can advocate for pay. They're more people who advocate for legislation. So they're the kind of people who they're the people who were the main leaders in the Independent Aftermarket Association, right? So they were the main leaders and the reason we can do warranty work as independents on vehicles outside of the dealerships, and they have to withhold the warranty is because of that industry. So they are the ones that brought the legislation forward after America passed it, and now we have the legislation in this country because they are the ones that brought it from America. So it's kind of like it's good, like it's a good thing to have. Don't get me wrong. I've been to a few of their seminars and sideshows and stuff. So it's kind of like interesting to learn about, but at the same time, it doesn't mean that we're going to make more money. It just means that we have more responsibilities.
That's it. More responsibility, more work.
Yeah, that's it. Okay.
But I mean, look, at the end of the day, it's a trade that's not going to disappear. I mean, it is changing. It's becoming more electrical with all these electronic vehicles coming out. And the fact that Australia wants to be zero emissions by 2030, I think it was. So, I mean, the high voltage system is a whole another ball game, which if we do stay in the trade, we're going to have to learn.
I won't be doing that.
Yeah, look, that's just the way it's all going now. So the way I look at it is I should have been an electrician back when I wanted to, before I became a mechanic.
Yeah, I think trades really taught us good work ethic. Being in a trade teaches you a really good work ethic, and it teaches you what hard work actually is. People, no offense to anyone who sits behind a desk, right? But that's a different kind of hard work. Being in front of a computer screen all day is hard work. Don't get me wrong. But But
Your
you
eyes
try,
get strained, your back.
yeah. This is the thing, but like being in the job that we're in, like 12 hours of fucking getting fuel in your eyes, like I don't condone it. Like,
Drinking coolant.
yeah, drinking coola's the worst. It never comes out. Like, it
No,
tastes
you
so
taste it for
weird.
hours.
Yeah. The worst you get brake fluid under your fingernails and
Oh,
just like I remember how you get brake fluid on your clothes and it like
yeah.
soaks into your hairs and your skin. Like
And then like if you're doing something on a gearbox like a manual transmission
it
and you
stinks
get
for
gear oil on you,
days.
that stuff, no matter how much you wash it, it's still gonna be there.
Yeah, Friday you
And
do that on a Monday. Friday you're
you,
still smelling it. Like
yeah,
get up your
as
nose.
if you
That'll be
just
the best.
happened. So
Yeah. Fuel's the same. Like diesel fuel as well. Diesel fuel like in your shoes or whatever. Oh, it's weird.
can't say I've ever had it in my shoes. I don't know what the
Yeah.
hell you're doing to get it in your shoes,
Like
but
pull the fuel
hey, you
filter
do you,
out.
mate.
Pull the fuel filter out. You don't understand what it's like to work on your back, right? So I,
Oh,
I roll underneath cars and you walk underneath cars. There's a difference. So
yeah.
like when I roll under a car and I'm trying to pull the diesel filter out and out, especially out of an Amarok, and I don't know, I forget to undo the tap at the bottom. That's where it goes, all down your legs. So it's not a fun experience.
Nah.
Just addressing the chat real quick. Snooter, it's good to see you, bro. You absolute fucking legend. It's been a while, man. Whenever you try custom body kit fabrication, look, I think it's probably a dying art, to be honest. Like,
Yes and no. I mean,
yeah,
I've had my hand in it, a little bit. Like I have done a fair bit of fiberglass work, and I do a lot of aluminium welding and like making shit out of aluminium.
yeah.
But yeah, like today's standards, because auto salons no longer around.
Mm.
Here in Australia, at least, it's not really something people are after.
No, especially like, and it's one of those things too, like, the industry for that kind of stuff, as you said before, is dying off because of,
Yeah,
the increase in carbon neutral stuff. Like,
and
that,
like when people do want body kits, they normally always go Killer Bee. Sorry, not Killer Bee. Rocket Bunny.
yeah.
So they just want the wide bodies, and you can get wide body fenders off eBay for dirt cheap. So the materials it'll cost for us to like start up a business and start making them, and then sell them, we won't get much of a sale because of how cheap they are on eBay.
Yeah, I get that. When you say when you say Killer Bee and stuff, obviously you're talking about like prefabricated stuff, right? So like pre-made.
Yeah, well, not Killer Bee. Killer Bee was wrong because Killer Bee make like sumps and baffles and
Oh,
stuff like
that's true.
that.
I remember doing one of
Um,
those with you, I think.
yeah, but Rocket Bunny is a massive. I think they might be a Japanese company. I could be wrong. They could be American. Um, but they make wide body kits for all sorts of cars. Like they make it for the
Measured
86,
and
the
bolted.
BRZ. Um, they make it for like Porsches, Ferraris, just about any kind of popular vehicle.
Okay.
Uh, Probably ranging from about 25 mil wider guards up to I don't know what their maximum is, but yeah, pretty fucking wide.
Yeah, wow. I mean, and this is the
Yeah.
thing with show cars too. You just don't see that many show cars anymore unless you go to our show, like an actual like show car show. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah,
don't see
like
them
the
driving around a
only
lot.
big show that I can think of that would have stuff like that is the fucking one over in Vegas. I got a mind blank right now. What is it?
I'm not sure to be honest. It's
SEMA.
okay.
Yeah, SEMA is like the only one where wild body kits and stuff. That and Tokyo Auto Salon. I think they're the only two car shows that I personally know of in the world that culture's still around.
Oh, okay.
Like yeah, Liberty Walk kits are huge over there. Just about every Porsche's got a Liberty Walk kit when they're out on stand.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow, dude, that's massive. So if you were to, so hypothetically speaking, say in 2 years' time you decide to get out of the trade, what's the goal? What's the aim? What's the forward motion? Where are you going? What are you doing?
I have no idea. Like as
Yeah.
much as I'd love to be able to stream full time,
Mm-hmm.
um, for me personally, I don't think it's achievable.
Right.
I mean, I don't really have the push to try and make it a full time thing, probably because of the risk of it all. I like doing it as a social thing to meet people, and I just do it for fun.
Yeah.
That's like the main reason why I do it. So as much as I would love to do it full time, I don't think that is really an option for me.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. So
Hey.
what? Of course.
Bye, Britt.
Thanks for that. Bye.
I think she tried to scare me just like Sass does.
Yeah. Well, she tried and she failed miserably. So
She did.
Good try. Yeah. Well, train of thought's gone now. Thanks, Britt. Thanks for that. Appreciate it. No, it's all good. So well, like I think for a lot of people, like when they're stuck in like an industry like you are, I feel like it's hard to get out of it because you don't know what else to do and you don't have enough time to think about it. So like unless you're going on a holiday or unless you have time off or whatever it might be, where you have an actual time to plan it out, you don't have that opportunity to do so because you're always like head to the grindstone all the time. That's what I found with this trade. Like as soon as I took time off the trade, I realized how much I didn't want to be in it.
Yeah, that's it.
So,
like I'll go on holidays for a week and I'll come back and I'll be like, I really don't want to go back to work.
Yeah.
Like when I was off for a week when I got COVID, I didn't want to go back. I was like, do I really have to go back? Can I just have another couple of weeks off?
Yeah. I get that. As soon as I during lockdowns, because obviously like I had to close business for 2 months, which was just I don't recommend it. It was a horrible experience. Just watching all your savings just fucking send in this direction. It's kind of depressing, but at the end of the day, everyone was in the same boat. So, majority of people in the same boat. And it happens to a lot of people. A lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people lost their businesses. A lot of people lost their livelihoods, and some got extremely sick. So, I mean, it is what it is. And so be it. But during that time, that gave me perspective a lot on what I'm doing and why. So I went from...
a lot of people have been like that as well.
Yeah.
And a lot of businesses as well. Like I know a lot of businesses have restructured the way they work just because they've found they're more profitable not to have a front. So like all their staff's working from home and the staff don't mind it because they don't have to travel every day.
Exactly. And so now for me, I'm just looking at obviously just something different. Do you know what I mean? Because I think it's more important to do things that you love than what you have to. Because if you have the opportunity to do so, you should do it. So like I said, we've both spent many years in the same trade. Like we met each other like while we were still in the same trade, and
I think we were both still apprentices.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah. So and going from that all the way to now, and now having all the problems that you have because of in your 30s, like it's kind of just like now. It's like when we were 18, we didn't really notice. You know what I mean? Like 18, when you're 20, you're like, yeah, I'm invincible. Rattle gun this off with one hand, throw this down without bending over. Like, we didn't give a fuck. Like,
and now it's all catching up.
And now my back's hurting, my neck's hurting, like my knees are fucked. Like it's just, and I basically sound like I'm an 80-year-old stuck in a 30-year-old's body. It's like, but this is all because of what we chose as careers. You realize that, yeah?
Yeah.
And I reckon the drinking probably came with it, to be honest.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. There's nothing like pulling a gearbox out and dropping it or something, and the first thing you think is like, Jesus fucking Christ, I want a beer. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just to
I mean, if I could go back, say to when I was 19, I think that's when I started being a mechanic, around 19. If I could go back and tell myself what to do, I would have said stick with skateboarding. Like I was a sponsored skateboarder up until I stopped skating. I did grow up skateboarding with a couple of really big names, and they have pushed on, and they're actually massive professionals over in America.
Yeah.
One of them actually represented Australia in the Olympics recently.
Is that right?
So like, if I kept pushing, I could have potentially been up around there, and then I'd be doing that for a living rather than fucking working on someone's car.
Yeah.
Burning my hand, getting covered in oil, getting dirt in my eyes.
So you had like some sort of professional sports career that you could have lined up.
Yeah, could have.
But then
until I broke my wrist, and then I started being a little bit of a bitch.
Yeah. I think your injury always affects a lot of people differently, doesn't it? Like, you see people
Yeah,
who are
well, I mean, it
famous and
wasn't the
stuff.
first time that I'd broken a bone from skateboarding, but it was the first time that I had done it down a decent sized set of stairs.
Yeah.
So I was doing a trick called a frontside lip slide down a 9 stair handrail, and when I landed weird, and the board shot out, and I've just gone down, put my wrist down, and yeah, ended up having a snake of a wrist.
Yeah, I can
And I
imagine.
think just something in my brain that day just clicked and made me scared of doing big shit like that because I was like, well, I've got a job that I'm working 5 days a week. Now I can't do it. If
Yeah.
I keep doing this, if I don't make it pro, like I got to rely on that job. How am I going to be able to do it if I'm always injured?
Yeah, I had the same thing. Like when I was like younger, before in high school and stuff, I used to inline skate. So I used to inline skate on vert ramps, so like half
Yeah,
pipe, and I used to do a lot of half pipe stuff. And yeah, you like even though you wear like on the half pipe, you always wear your helmet and your knee pads because that thing
crucial.
was the thing. Well, I did because that thing was always hot as fuck because it was made out of tin, and like
Ah, okay, yeah.
and also, like, I would like wear long pants and stuff, but I just rip my fucking holes in my pants all the time. So I was just like, you know what, I'm sick of doing that. Like, and I smashed my head a few times pretty bad. So I was kind of like, look, I'm just gonna put a helmet on because,
That's
even
fair.
though like
Safety first.
16, 17, you're like, fucking, I'm invincible. And a lot of the times I thought I was until I fell off the side of it. But like, you just gotta kind of think to yourself sometimes. You're like, look, it's like I need my brain forever. So, and you can't replace your brain. You know what I mean? Like, there's one thing you can replace every limb and every bone and pretty much every organ in your body, but your brain is a one off, once
Yeah,
only
that's it.
thing.
Like once your
So,
brain's set on something, it's really hard to untrain it for that.
exactly.
Like, I mean, the mind is a powerful thing. And like if you spend a lot of time molding it and working with it, you can do some pretty crazy shit. But yeah, once it gets stuck in a certain kind of fear, it's hard to get out of it.
That's right. That's right. But you know what? We always used to watch all the big names, right? So like you watch all the big names, the big skaters, and the big, the big esports guy or Xbox guys and all that kind of stuff. When we were
Yeah.
younger, they were like idols to all of us. Like they were just like the coolest fucking thing ever. Like if you didn't know who Tony Hawk was, you were just like a noob. Like you know what I mean? Like everybody knew who
I
he
mean,
was.
Ryan Sheckler, right, to name a big name in skateboarding. I'm pretty sure most people around our age or even a little bit younger, they know who
Mm.
Ryan Sheckler is if they're into any kind of sport. Also, he was like a massive teen heartthrob when he blew
Oh
up, and
yeah, yeah. He's a
yeah.
good looking dude.
I had the chance to actually meet him in person when I was doing a demo for one of my sponsors out front of the Opera House
Yeah.
many years ago, and he was, I think he was about 13, 14 at the time.
Mhm.
And I was, I think, 17, something like that. And he said something to one of our mates, and my mate was a bit of a hothead. Anyway, long story short, things didn't end up well. People ended up getting arrested and charged because we all got into a massive fight.
Oh no.
And Ryan Sheckler, being from America, obviously had bodyguards and shit with him. So he kind of backed out of everything and let everyone else handle it.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Um, so I think getting big at that time for such a young person kind of
Too
got
much
into his head a
too
little too.
quick. Yeah, well, you know what? Like you see that with most people, with even with like childhood Hollywood stars. Like you'll see
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. They grow up in that industry like from young age. They always fall apart in their later stage because
Lindsay Lohan.
yeah, it's just too much for them. It's too much pressure. Like it's
Yeah.
too much attention too early. You know what I mean?
Well, that's it.
And if you get
That's
used
it.
to that, yes, it does go to your head, 100%. Like if you started famous, you're always going to
Yeah,
presume you're
pretty much.
famous. You know what I mean? Like
It's same thing with Justin Bieber. Like, don't get me wrong, I kind of like his early stuff when he was younger.
yeah.
Especially that baby song, that baby, baby. Yeah, I'm not gonna sing because that's for one of my streams later on. But
Yeah.
um, I liked his music when he was younger, and then as he got into his teens and he got a bit arrogant, that's when all the drama started happening with him.
Yeah, exactly.
And people started hating him and stuff. But I think now that he's older, he's kind of leveled out, and I think that's what a lot of them try to do is they try to level out and kind of normalized once they get a little bit older and a bit more mature.
Mm, I
I
agree.
think, yeah, just the whole being young and arrogant is what kind of kicks it
Yeah,
off.
it sends you in a different direction. Like, I think it's the same thing as if you grew up poor. You know what I mean? If you grow up in a poor household, or if you grow up, you know, you know, you don't have food on the table every night, or you don't have water coming out of the tap, you have a different perspective again. And then for those
Oh,
people,
100%.
you always hear the big stories. The big sports stars are always the ones, the most famous of sports stars are always the ones that came from nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And that's because they didn't
because they've
know.
strived for it.
Yeah, they didn't know anything else, and they said, I have to work hard to get it. I have to work as
That's it.
hard as humanly possible to get what I want. Because if I don't, no one's going to give it to me. No one's going to hand it to me. So you'll find that people who are already sort of got their foot in the door and who don't have as much skill won't work as hard to get better. Whereas like people who don't have their foot in the door at all have to earn it.
Yeah.
So that's why you see a lot of people in basketball or a lot of people in different sports who are right now at the top. A lot of them don't know how to use their money very well, do they? Because they've never had that much money. They don't know
That's
what to
true.
do. But there's a lot of people in sport that are very humble because of that. So I think that's a good
Yeah.
thing too.
Look, one of the boys at work, on the topic of sports,
Yeah.
he is a massive NBA fan, right? And I love G'ing him up. Like, I love Michael Jordan because obviously he was my era of basketball
Yeah, he's
when
the
I was growing
best.
up. So he's my idol, and I think he's the greatest basketball player. I know he's not because LeBron obviously has got better stats and everything to him, but my mate at work, he's fully into stats and that's
Yeah.
all he cares about. So I love G'ing him up and just saying, who's LeBron? Like, MJ's the GOAT. And then he'll just come on this massive
Yeah.
rant. But one thing that he did say to me, which got me liking LeBron a lot more, is LeBron said in an interview after Michael Jordan's autobiography or videography thing came out, and they're like, "Oh, so when's yours coming out?" And LeBron turned around and he says, "I don't want mine to come out. I don't want to have one. Michael Jordan is a GOAT. It's his time to shine. I'm not doing one. It's all on him."
Hmm.
So for him to not want to take like the spotlight away from MJ and all the hard work that he did. Plus, LeBron idolized MJ when he was growing up. So he also said that Michael Jordan was his inspiration for him to be an NBA player and be as big as what he is now.
Yeah.
So it's humble people like that
I
that I
love that.
fucking I love.
That's really nice. Like,
So
I mean, like you always have to have sports stars that you look up to when you're younger too. Like mine were always soccer stars. Like when I was growing up, like real young, my dad obviously was very into football, like and football being like the round ball of soccer, and like he loved it, man. He like obsessed with it. Like we would watch the highlights every Monday, like But for me, as soon as I grew up a bit more when I was like in teenage years, I lost interest in it completely. Like, and I shifted myself to rugby instead because it was just more of an interesting sport to watch for me.
yeah, look, I'll agree. I used to play soccer. I used to love soccer. I idolized Manchester United and Ryan Gibbs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um, but then when I stopped playing soccer, I kind of drifted away from watching it, getting into like seeing what all the scores were. And even now, like I'd rather watch NRL because, as you said, it's more enjoyable rather than them kicking the ball back and forth
hmm.
and like just passing it between defenders and not doing anything towards the goal for a good 20 minutes.
Yeah. Well, look, like you know me, I was a referee. Like I was a New South Wales state referee, like for soccer, for since from when I was like 14 to when I was 21. So
Yeah.
I did it a long time. I didn't play and I didn't watch it. Like I didn't watch it on TV and I didn't play it myself. I just refereed. And like ever since I feel like that is the same reason why I don't watch it today is because as a referee and trying to get better at refereeing, I was always watching what the referee was doing, right? When I was watching the sport itself. So now I can't watch a game without just watching the ref the whole time because I'm watching
I'm
what
gonna
he's
have to try
doing.
that. I'm gonna have to try it next time I watch any kind of sport. I'm just gonna watch the referee.
Yeah, exactly. So I
I'll give that a
mean,
try.
that's weird. Just addressing the chat real quick. It's gone a little bit nuts in there. Welcome in Links and welcome in all the boys. and ladies from the Australian esports group. I appreciate you guys coming in. You know all these legends as well, I presume.
Yes, Omega, Archie, Linksy, you amazing people.
Yeah, 100%. It's the first time Omega's ever been in the chat as well, so it's a
OE's
vibe.
probably in there as well, Mr. Majestic himself.
Yeah, all the legends. I'm glad you guys came in. Thank you for the retweets as well. I see that on the screen there as well. And yeah, Snoots, I did ref on the beaches for a bit, but they moved me out to, I don't know whether you guys know where Kellyville is, like Valentine Park area. I know you would. But I used to referee out there for New South Wales, so I used to do all the state league games out there, and they used to pay me more money, which was good. But as a 15 to 20-year-old, earning 75 bucks on a Saturday, working 8 hours is not a fucking fun time. You would rather be on the piss with your mates
That's rough.
than sitting around doing that. Gosh Dosh Gaming, thank you for the follow. Bubble07, great name as well. Thank you for the follow. 7J Doe, appreciate you very much. And Drift X, welcome into the chat. Thank you for that as well. Guys, we are talking to the one and only Ragnar AU, one of my longtime friends. I obviously know him as something else, but you know. But
Look, it's posted on my Twitch. You can call me Aaron if you want.
yeah,
I don't care.
it's good. I'm just saying.
I'm not hiding it. I'm not hiding it.
Look, everybody in the chat calls me Adam anyway, so it doesn't really matter, does it?
No, that's it.
So either way, I mean, let's visit that real quick, so everybody in here can get a bit of an idea of how long it's been and how much we've known each other. I can remember the times when we used to like go to like car meets and stuff, like back in the day. Like that shit seems like an eternity ago. It really does.
It's almost half our lives if you think about it. It's just a little under half our lives that we've known each other.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah. So I think the first time we actually met was when I helped put the motor together in your WRX.
Yeah, well, I've had that car since I was 21. So
yeah.
So I bought it. Yeah, I bought it when I was 21, or even earlier than that, because like So I got it when I wrote the Sora off. That was when I was 20. So I bought the WRX immediately after I wrote the Sora off. So yeah.
2021, somewhere around there.
That's like 12 years.
Yeah.
11
Seems
years.
about right.
Yeah. So
something like that.
we put that together. I remember we met. Did we meet at a car meet? I feel like we did.
Yeah, I think we did up near where you currently live now.
Yeah, it was up at the
The car park.
Yeah. I remember that. It was what was it? I can't remember what the car plate. Was it called? What was the thing called? It was
A or some shit. Or it was like a number and a letter.
Yeah. I can't remember.
I can't remember
something.
What it's called.
Something one. I think it was.
Yeah, D1. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, I remember us meeting through that and getting on pretty well because we were just like, I feel like we were both kind of like just very similar. It was like, oh, we're both mechanics.
Yeah, like we both had Subarus. We were both apprentice mechanics.
Yeah.
And I don't know, so we just kind of gelled and it went from there.
Yeah, it's funny because like all the guys that we met at the time, I don't think many of them we talk to anymore at all.
No, I speak to a couple every now and then, but that's only when they've got car problems.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, it's funny like that, isn't it? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
it is. It really
you always
is.
know. Well, you know who your real friends are anyway. You don't have to measure that or you know test that out because you know because they're the people that call you when they don't want anything. But it's the people that call you. They haven't spoken to you in 2 years, say, right? 2 or 3 years, whatever it might be, and they give you a call and they go, "Hey man, how you been?" Like they start off with, "Yeah, good mate, how are you?" Yeah, I got a car question for you. I'm like,
I had one. So when you called me the other day, I had just gotten off the phone with a guy that I haven't spoken to in 2 years. Actually, no, it's been about 3 years. I built his engine for him, and now he's having problems with his turbo leaking. And he rings me and he's like, "Oh, my turbo's leaking oil from the back at the V band. Like, what do you think it could be? What do I do?" Blah blah blah. I'm like, "Mate, you're not going to get anything out of me. I built your car for you 3 years ago, and then we never spoke again.
Yeah.
What do you want?"
You paid for a job, and now you're just a customer. Like, do you know what I mean?
I'm like, yeah, he was definitely searching for free labor, and I'm like, no,
Yeah, I get that on a
not
daily
after 3
basis.
years.
I sometimes I get to the point now. I've started when I first started my own business. I got a lot of phone calls like that, and I was pretty easy to address. I would address it like honestly. I would tell people out. Like I do everything. Like I try to do the best thing by everyone, no matter what, regardless of money or whatever it might be, to try and help them out. In the last year or so, that shit stopped altogether. All right, because I got sick of people trying to take advantage of me. So like it was like someone would call and be like, "Hey, I've got this issue with my Volkswagen. What do you think it would be?" And I said, "It's $88."
Yeah.
That like and
The moment you say it's going to cost them money, they're like, oh, why are you charging me for it?
I'm like, well, I'm not a free advice hotline. Like I spent the last 10 years in the trade learning everything that I had to learn and buying all the tens of thousands of dollars worth of tools that I had to have and reading and studying and doing all these things, not to just say, hey, by the way, here's everything I know. Please go and make money doing it yourself. Like it's the same thing as if you call an accountant and you ask him how to do your own books. Like it's just like I find it really rude. Like, you know what I mean? Even if they're friends, it seems still a little bit out of context. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
you say to the person, so it's usually the person who comes to you for advice is the person who doesn't have a job or something, or the person who, you know, isn't motivated to do a career or whatever it might be. You never get someone who's a career-driven person, say like a lawyer or a doctor or something like that, asking you for free advice. Do you know what I mean? Like, because they're like, we understand what it takes to get to where you are. You know what I mean?
That's it.
We've done the hard yards. You know, we wouldn't expect people to come to us and ask for free advice. So we're not going to do it to you. Whereas like the local bartender will come to you and be like, hey mate, my car's broken down. Do you know? Can you just come and fix it for me? But they don't expect to pay. It's like, do you know what I mean? Like it's a different concept altogether. I find it very frustrating, but that's the glories of having your own business too.
Yeah, well, that's it. Like when I was doing my own business on the side, I did so many things for free. Went out and helped people. I even did free trackside like diagnosis and shit for people. I'd go to the racetrack just for people that I'd build their cars for, and I'd be there. I'd be changing their tires out. I'd be checking tire pressures, checking the engine over after every session out on the track.
Yeah.
And I never got anything in return for it. Not that I was expecting it, but then the next time when they went out to the track and they're like, "Oh, are you coming?" and I said no. They're like, "Oh, how come you're not coming? Like you come out every other time." I'm like, because I've got other things to do. I'm not getting paid for it, and quite frankly, I don't have to do it.
Exactly.
You know, like I didn't put down in the contract when I built your car that I am forever going to be your trackside mechanic.
Yeah, exactly. I get that too with people now that, so when I first started doing the business again, like I would take on any job, like I would just do it. Like no matter how much money I was going to make, I would do it. Nowadays, very picky,
Yeah.
because like time is
feel,
money.
Yeah, I feel like when you're first starting out, you can't really pick and choose, but then
you gotta
after you're
establish
established,
yourself
that's
somewhere.
when you can.
I think so too. I think you got a really good point there. I think like the majority of people who go out on their own are worried about getting the next dollar, so they do anything that comes across the table. So like,
Yeah,
the
100%.
worst job possible, the best job possible, it doesn't matter as long as you're getting paid, because you wanna be able to put that money back in order to grow something. So
Yeah, that's it.
I
Like
totally get
whether
that.
it be pay the bills or like pay the registration on the
Yeah,
van to
or
be able
new
to go out to other
tools
jobs
or
and
whatever it might be.
yeah.
It's understandable that is the case. But nowadays, like if it's not a Volkswagen or an Audi, I'm probably not going to work on it. Like I feel like a lot of the times, like, you know, you're not going to make a lot of money on like single call outs to do Commodores. Do you know what I mean? Like
Nah.
I'm not going to make a lot of money on that. And you know, all the special tools I have are for the German branded cars. All the money and training and all that kind of stuff that I've done is for the German branded cars. And so if somebody calls me and says, I've got a set of brakes on a Q7, and someone calls me and says, I need you to do the sump on my R32, I know what I'm going to do. You know what I mean? I'm going
Yeah.
to take the breaks because I'm going to make money on the breaks. You know what I mean? So
And I wouldn't take a job of just doing the sump on an R32.
that's what I mean.
Especially in
It's just
GDR.
no, exactly not. Like that was probably like the worst case scenario sort of situation. But
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, and
I know
people,
what you mean, though,
people
yeah.
in other industries that are in the chat, they'll understand that too. Like, you know, obviously in the construction industry with Snoot, he'll understand that as well. Like, if someone calls you out to do this or this, you have to choose, and you will always choose the easier, more money job as opposed
Hang on.
to the pain in the ass.
Can I just address something right now? Splash Zone. I know that's Snooter. Is that the Snooter that we both know?
Yes, it is.
I thought it was. Okay.
It took you this long to figure that out.
It kind of just clicked. It kind of just clicked.
Yeah, of course it is.
It's like the way he's been typing in chat and what he's been saying and stuff. It's like he knows both of us, which now
he does.
I know he does.
You remember how we were talking about all the car mates?
Yeah.
Yeah. This old Splash Zone in the chat. You know, the Ginger Ninja himself. We go way back. This is the thing.
I think I've known Snooter almost as long as I've known you.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah.
I remember all the times.
I think it was around similar times that I met both of you.
Yeah, 100%. I remember. I think we were there when he met his wife. Actually, I don't think that was much after.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a long
And
time
then
ago as well.
I remember going. I think actually the last time I saw Snooter in person was his son's christening.
Yeah.
That would have been the last time I saw him.
I haven't seen him in many years. Many years. Little Lennox. Yeah.
The naming day. That's it.
That's the one.
The naming day.
Wild.
That was a good day, actually.
That's fucking wild. I love that. That's amazing, eh? Oh my god.
Time flies, man. Like that. That's got to be at least 5-6 years now.
Yeah. Since that happened. Yeah. It's gotta be 8 years since I've seen him last.
Crazy.
Yeah. I haven't seen him since I worked at Audi. So.
Yeah, I missed when you went to Glucks.
Wild. That's so cool. Oh my god. So I just went down memory lane a little bit and got shocked. That's alright. I guess while we're still on the topic of cars real quick, I got one final car question for you. How many cars have you owned? Now I know it's a big one. How many cars have you owned? And I want them in order if you can, right?
Yep.
And what was your favorite?
Okay, so my first car was a 1985 Holden RB Gemini. So a little, what was it, 1.3 liter 4-cylinder front wheel drive piece of shit that I bought for $250. Sorry.
Oh wow.
But that's the car that I learnt everything on. Like I learnt how to drive in it. I learnt how to respray a car and refinish a car. I did all the mechanics on it, and that's where it basically all started from. After that got smashed into by an R33 Skyline and got written off.
Glorious.
And from that point, I hated Skylines until I found out how cool they actually are.
Yeah. Now they're worth a lot of money.
Tell me about it. If you had one back then and you still got it now, ooh, gold mine.
Yeah.
The second car that I had was a 1990 Nissan Pulsar N13. That was a 1.8 liter 4-cylinder. I was on a skateboarding tour down in Queanbeyan and Canberra, and the oil galleries to the head blocked and the camshaft snapped.
Oh fuck.
All right, so my dad was kind enough to hire a car trailer, drive for 3 hours down, pick the car up, and drive it home while I continued to stay down there on the skateboarding tour.
Yeah.
Didn't have the money to pay a mechanic to fix it, so Dad and I got to pulling the motor out, stripping it down. We replaced everything in it: new camshaft, new pistons, new bearings, re-linished the crank. Like that was the very first engine that I rebuilt, and that's actually what got me into mechanics. I was like, I enjoy doing this. I'm going to do this as a career.
Yeah, I get that.
So that's when I got into that. The car after that I got was my 1995 Subaru Liberty, or Legacy for those that live overseas, because Australia is the only place that calls it a Liberty.
Correct.
That car I still have. That is my favorite car, and it's the one car that I still have. So I bought that in 2006.
That's the one on the wall behind you,
Yeah. You
yeah?
guys probably can't see it. I wonder if I turn the light up a bit more. No, it's not even gonna light it up real well.
Oh, yeah. I see it.
Yeah. Anyway, so that car at the moment is a shell and waiting to be rebuilt once I get funds for it.
Yeah.
I basically, I've stripped everything. I've got to rebuild the motor, which I've got half the motor sitting downstairs. And one day when I do get around to it, I'm going to stream the assembly of it. Um, rebuild the motor, rebuild the gearbox, rewire it, and put it all back together. After that, what was the car I got after that? I bought a 2001 Honda Civic, EK Honda Civic.
Yep.
That thing was sick. That is the one car I regret selling.
EK Honda Civic. Fuck,
Yeah, man, that car was so good. It was you could just thrash the shit out of that and it'd keep going.
Yeah.
I left it at my parents' house for 4 years untouched. I went back to it, chucked a fresh battery in it, turned the key, it started straight away.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's the one I regret selling. I sold that to my brother-in-law, and then he ended up selling it to a guy that I used to be good mates with, but now no longer speak to.
Yeah, wow.
And then after that I got a 98 Outback, which I got given, basically. So the story with that one was one of my father-in-law's friends. He was trying to sell a car that his son had come back from WA with.
Right.
So his son went over to WA and he was backpacking and he met this Belgian girl and she had the Outback. So they drove that all the way back to New South Wales and then decided we're going to go move to Belgium. So they left the car there and said, like, signed it all over to his dad and stuff. And it sat there for 4 years. And they were like, we've tried selling it. No one wants it. Do you know anyone that wants it? So my father-in-law's friend got in touch with me because he knew, obviously, I've got a lot of people that are in the Subaru community.
Yeah.
He sent me photos and I asked him like what the price was and stuff. And he said, look, if someone wants it, they can take it. So I went up, had a look at it, jump started it. Motor was all sound. So I'm like, all right, how much do you guys want for it? Like, I'm willing to pay money. They're like, if you're serious about it, just take it. Take the car. I'm like, all right. Went back up there the next day with a car trailer and towed it home. Got it loosely, got it all registered. Had that for about 4 years, and then that actually carked it not too long ago.
Yeah,
The gearbox blew up.
Yeah.
So then, the next car after that I bought was a 2002 Liberty, which I'm currently driving.
Nice.
Yeah.
Always the Subarus, eh?
So how many cars is that? That's Gemini, the Pulsar,
that's 6.
Subaru, Liberty, the Honda Civic, the Outback, and the Liberty 6 cars in total.
Yeah,
so I really haven't owned that many cars over the span of 14, 15 years.
Yeah, that's not that many. I mean,
No,
it might be
people.
a lot for some, like, because a lot of people have one car forever. But I mean, being mechanics, it's pretty easy that you go between cars. Like, I find that every year I have a different car at the moment, like, whatever it might be. So it's kind of funny like that.
Oh, look, I probably drive the wife's car more than the Liberty on weekends anyway.
Yeah.
I think her WRX is a bit more fun to drive than the Liberty.
She has the 2012. 2012. Same, right? Yeah. That's cool, right? I found out a story the other day that's going to be something you don't know, which is very funny. So my WRX that I have, so I bought it originally from somebody up on the Central Coast. I believe it was in 2010 or 2011 maybe. And I think it was 2011. I think we established that already, right? And like, so I bought it then for like, I think it was like $8,000, right? Had 140,000 Ks on the clock when I bought it, and it was stock, right? Besides, what I had a tow bar and then roof racks. That was it.
Oh, who puts a
And
tow bar on a WRX? I'm sorry.
I don't know, but it's still there. Like I never took it off. But it's really fun when you're parking because you're like just like, oh well, the car's so low. If anyone tries to hit me, it's just gonna go straight through the tow ball. So it's kind of funny that way. But so I thought of myself, like, I bought the car and I brought it back and we rebuilt it and all that. And that's basically how our friendship started. Was rebuilding this car and stuff. And all these years later, I still have it, regardless of the mold problem. But anyway, I posted a photo of the car. So Headache was doing a thing on Twitter the other day where he said, post a photo of your car. Post a photo of your car and we'll, laugh about it. So he posted a picture of his BMW that he got. Because he got a 2
That thing's nice.
Yeah. And it's a beautiful car. Big, like the red one he got. And then a whole bunch of other boys were posting like, Mitsubishis and like some couple of Evos in there. And I saw a couple of, Skylines in that. And I posted a picture of my car. And then I got a DM. So do you know who Salty is? Yo Salty?
No.
So Yo Salty is one of the Warzone boys, right? And he DM'd me and he said, I have something to tell you. And I said, what's that? Because the registration plate that was on at the time was the AMW registration plate, right? Remember that we had that for Subinats? That was before it went to Queensland and changed 3 times over, right? Long story on that one too. But he saw the number plate and he DM'd me straight away. He said, you have my dad's old car.
Oh, shit, no way.
Right? And I'm like, I play Warzone with this guy all the time. And like, he's one of the content creators for Twitch as well. Like, he's a Warzone content creator. And he messaged me on Twitter. He's like, there's no fucking way that you bought my dad's old car. And I said to him, he's like, but I didn't buy it off his dad, right? His dad sold the car 6 months prior to when I bought it to someone else because lives not far from us, right?
Right.
When I say not far, I mean like 20 minutes. Like, so the car went from 20 minutes away from where I live now all the way to the Central Coast, was about an hour and a half north, right? And I bought it off someone completely different, only for it to come back here, go to Queensland for 3 years, come back here again, and then for me to take a photo of it and put it on Twitter, and then the original person's son says, that's my dad's old car. Now that's a fucking weird story, right? Like that blew my fucking mind because he said to me, he goes, how is it running? Can I see some photos? And I sent him all the photos of the engine. I sent him all the photos of like the wheels and the everything that we did to it, suspension, exhaust, between you and me with the engine, that was a lot of work. And then with all the other stuff I put on it, the car is not stock at all. The only thing stock in the car is the interior, and now that's fucking destroyed. So, basically everything's changed on this car. And I sent him all the photos. He's like, I'm so glad it still runs and someone's actually taking care of it. He said that was my dad's pride and fucking joy.
Should ask him whether his dad wants to buy it back.
Yeah, I know, right? And I was just like, I couldn't believe that. Hey? Like,
that's uncanny. Like, what are the chances?
I know, and I never would have known unless I posted that photo because we would never have made that connection regardless. Like,
No, that's it. Like, you might have mentioned to him, I own a Bugeye WRX.
Yeah, but like,
that's as far as it would have gone.
They're so common. Like, well, they were so common back in the day anyway. So like, see less of them now, obviously. But like, it's wild to think that is real life. Do you know what I mean?
That's crazy.
Australia's a small fucking place. I've had times where I've been overseas even when I've bumped into people who live in Australia who live like 10 minutes away from where I live. Like it's a crazy place. Like I went to Hawaii one time. Sat in a bar, 2 girls sitting next to me. One of them was from like fucking, I won't say where it is, but it was literally 15 minutes away from here.
Yeah, right.
And we're 10 hours away in the middle of the fucking Pacific Ocean. She's like, hey, what's up? I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, where are you from? I'm from Sydney. Like, you know what I mean? It's crazy. It's crazy stuff. Anyway,
that's uncanny.
Getting off the car topic because I feel like we've talked about cars way too much. We could talk about cars for
until we die.
Who's got a piece of string that's long enough? Nobody does. We could literally talk about cars forever. But back to Twitch for a little bit and gaming, right? Obviously you're still on Twitch, you're still streaming. I believe you're Mondays and Wednesdays.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this year.
Nice.
Yeah, picked up a third day. So
playing some different indie games now as well. I saw you playing the Tomb Raider the other day. That looked like fun.
Yeah. Just finished Tomb Raider, so I've still got 2 more Tomb Raiders to play. I don't know whether I'll start one next week or this week because I've still got to finish Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, true.
So I
Yeah.
might finish that first. But I'm really keen for season 12 of Apex.
Mm.
That's gonna be good. That I don't know whether you've seen the trailers for it, but it
I
looks
haven't yet. I might watch
wild.
after this. Yeah, yeah, I don't know. Like Apex is touch and go for me. Like I love playing it. Don't get me wrong. It's actually a really good game. Like I never played it prior to what 2 months, 3 months ago. So
Yeah,
and I really got into it and I'm really enjoying it. But at the same time, I'm kind of like I don't know. FPS at the moment is really down for me. Like I'm just kind of not feeling it. So
fair enough.
I'm trying to try different games. Like yesterday, I played The Witcher for like 6 hours.
Yeah, I saw that when I
It's
came
such a
in.
great game though. Like and that's the kind of game I've played that game through like three, four, 5 times now.
Have you played the first and second Witcher?
I have, yeah, always from start to finish.
I started playing the first one, but I wasn't feeling it.
This
The
one's not
fighting
very,
mechanics
it's
were
not very
weird.
good. Well, this is the thing. They took 3 games to make a good one.
Yeah, that's what
So
Fudd's been telling me. He's like, play number 3, you'll love number 3.
yeah,
So I do have that one as well. So
the,
that's
the
another
first
one.
one, the fighting mechanics and the camera angles were broken.
Yeah,
It didn't make any sense the way it would move. The movement was, and also the inventory stuff was a pain in the ass. So like the second one, they improved on that, but the storyline wasn't as good as the third one. So like, you know what I mean? So the second one, I would still play them through, but you've just got to not. It's the glory of hindsight. Like you've just got to not, you know, expect the third one to be as good as the first one or vice versa. Like it's kind of like you knowing that the third one's the best game out of all of them. You're like, we'll just skip to the third one. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
So like when you play the first and second ones and you expect it to be like the third one, it's not going to be the case. You know. So that's why if you played them in order when they came out, it would have been better. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
But
But
obviously,
look,
it's
honestly, I
10 years later. So
I watched the Witcher series on Netflix before I even knew about the game.
yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right.
So,
Um, I think. Look, there's plenty of other games you can play. Like this is the
oh
thing.
yeah,
Like when we first started, it was Warzone, 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 right? But then we both got to a point, I think, when we were both like, look, Warzone and streaming is very, very different ball game. So like, if you want to get
it's
viewers, like
it's so tough. Like
Warzone's not the game. I really feel
no,
like
it, it's the fact that it's so saturated. Like there are so many people streaming it, but also because you're constantly having to focus on the game, I think it's hard to engage with chat most of the time, and that's where people will come in, they'll watch the gameplay, but then leave because you're not being as interactive.
yeah, that's exactly right.
So,
I believe that too. Like I always say to people who come on this channel and they say, you know, I've got my affiliate, but I sit here and only one person watches me. I said, what game are you
yeah,
playing? The first thing I ever ask is like, what game are you playing? Warzone. I said, don't play Warzone. I said, yeah,
yeah,
when you get more followers and more viewers and stuff, you can play Warzone. Don't get me wrong, but don't play Warzone to start because
no, not
you're
not
impossible.
to start building.
It's impossible to find you. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like I say, like if you look at the Warzone category, there's God knows how many people watching Warzone, right? And the majority of those people are watching big streamers, and then everyone else
yeah,
is
like
on one viewer.
no one's gonna scroll down like 20 pages to find someone that's playing to one viewer.
Exactly. Without a cam, no tags. Like it's just impossible. Like it's not
Yeah,
worth the time. Like play anything else. Like you know what I mean? Like there's so many other games you can play. I mean, even Fortnite is better than Warzone when it comes to viewership. When it comes to like low viewership. Like do you know what I mean? Like I played Fortnite for a bit just out of pure interest, and like I got so many more viewers, and I was like, but the problem is it's just kids asking if they can play all the time. So it's just like
yeah,
it's the same as Minecraft. Minecraft, I have a command now when I play Minecraft that says command like rules, basically. And basically, it's like the Minecraft rules, like don't ask to play, you're not invited sort of situation. As nice
yeah.
as humanly possible. But like at the same time, it's kind of like, please stop asking me. Like every 5 minutes is like follow, can I play? No.
Unfollow.
like yeah, exactly. It's really annoying. Like um Snooter says, if I told you we know a guy who does voice-over commentary for some car racing games on Xbox and iRacing, he gets plug sponsors, kickbacks, would you want to try it?
I probably wouldn't be against it. I mean, I'm not the greatest speaker to begin with, but I don't know. It could be interesting.
I don't think you give yourself enough credit sometimes, dude, to be honest.
Uh,
You give yourself such a
look,
hard time.
I listen to myself and I cringe, honestly.
Yeah, so do I, but I don't listen to myself. I avoid it. I avoid it like the plague. I hear myself in clips and I hear myself in like VODs and stuff, and I'm like, do I actually sound like that? Like,
Yeah, I don't think anyone likes their voice.
no, 100%.
Like,
Like, I've never,
you can
unless
ask
you're,
anyone in the world, do you like listening to a recording of your voice? 9 times out of 10, people say, no, I hate
yeah,
it.
and the 1 out of 10 love themselves. You know what I mean? We're just
Yeah.
not those people. Like,
Fuck those people. I'm jealous.
yeah, exactly. It's like I wish I did. No, personally speaking, like I think you could do it. I think if you just put your mind to it, like basically. But if the thing with you, right, is that, and I've known you for a long time. The thing that you do that I always notice is you always put yourself down before you bring yourself back up again. And it's like you gotta level yourself down here before you can actually push yourself up to here, instead of just starting up here. So you don't like bring the confidence. You just kind of like I'll work it out from
I've
here.
never,
I'll climb the ladder.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Like,
I've never been an overly confident person, I guess. Like, all right, let's go back to school times.
okay.
I wasn't one of the nerds, like one of the geeks, but I wasn't one of the popular people either. So I was kind of hovering around the middle there, and I actually made friends on both sides of the field, and that's how I was through all of my schooling. So I think being in the middle there, that's kind of why
Yeah, I get you.
I like talk myself down and then kind of try and bring myself back up. I know it's just something that I've done my whole life, and it's like anything, you get in the habit of something, it's hard to break out of.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. I've always like you know me. I'm always interested in debate. Right. I've always been interested in conversation and all of the kinds of stuff that you know is worth talking about and like worth learning about. But the problem for me is I've never applied it like that because I've always been scared of public speaking. So like
Yeah.
when I was in high school, I wanted to be on the debating team and I wanted to do all that stuff. I had the knowledge to do it, but I didn't have the confidence to speak in front of people. So like I was so scared
I relate.
to get up on the podium to say anything that I would shut down. My brain would stop working, and I wasn't a very good debater if your brain doesn't work, right? So I just couldn't. I couldn't do it. So I was very introverted in high school. Like I was the bookworm. You know, I was the one playing video games in the corner of the library. I wasn't down in the oval kicking the ball. Like I was an inside person. So like I was on the computer, I was doing something like that. Like, dude, what kind of a 14-year-old boy plays the stock exchange in a library computer? Like, there's something wrong with you. Like, I was like really interested in it. Like, I was doing commerce as one of my subjects, and they were talking about stock exchange, and I just started looking into it. And like, I was reading about it on the library computer, and the teacher was like my commerce teacher was in the library, and he comes over, he goes, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm learning about the ASX," and he goes, "Okay, that's cool." And so he sat down with me, and then he taught me what the different stocks meant. You know, the reason they go up and down. You know, the dissonant trading and the time trades and all that kind of stuff. I was like, this is very interesting. Like, and he's just like, it's not normal for a 14-year-old boy to be interested in this kind of stuff.
No, that's normally like when you get into your 30s.
Yeah, you should be down like in the oval kicking a football. I'm like, yeah, but all the kids kick it into my face, so I'm not a big fan of it. So I'm just like, I'd rather just sit here and read my book. So you know, and that was just what I did. And I mean, for you, it was a different thing altogether, but still same outcome. Do you know what I mean? So like, or a similar outcome.
Going back to the whole public speaking thing, whenever we had to do speeches in class,
Terrifying.
I would make sure I would either be sick on that day or I'd just leave school before I had to do it.
Yeah.
I'd walk out of school.
I used to have nightmares about them picking me first. Like, proper nightmares. But then, the nightmare would continue if you weren't picked first, because then you'd be worried you were last. You'd have to follow all these awesome people. So, like, all these people with these massive speeches that were amazing, and you go, I have to follow that? You're like, I'm going to look like a dickhead. You know what I mean? But, if you went first, you set the benchmark of terrible, and someone outdoes you. So, you can't win. Like, there's no winning situation when you're terrified of talking in front of people. Especially because I'm like, I don't have many friends. So I was like, it's not like my friends are going to be cheering for me at the back of the room. Like, go Adam, yeah, you're doing really well. They're all just going to be like, oh, I have to listen to this fucking idiot. Like, you know, it's just like, can we hurry up and wrap that shit up or what? Like, you know, it's very
I don't think that's the biggest fear of most people, I guess.
Yeah. But I wish I'd done something. So this is hindsight though. I wish, like for you as well, I think we both have really grown being on Twitch. We talk to a camera, but we talk to a lot of people. You
Yeah,
know?
we do. We talk to a hell of a lot of people.
Yeah. And like on a daily basis. This is the most social I've ever been in my life. Like,
Yeah, me, I can probably say this is probably the most social I've been as well.
yeah.
Um, and like even when first starting Twitch, like I found it hard to talk to a camera, found it hard to talk
Yeah.
to chat because I was just like, I don't know what to talk about. How do I get people talking? Um, yeah, I think just it's been a big learning curve from it all.
100%. And I think it's a benefit though to both of us because I think it's brought us out of our shell a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, it probably has. I mean, I in the last 6 months, um, I've actually gotten the courage to actually quit my job,
Hmm.
because I told them that I didn't like it. Right.
I remember.
And then at first they were like, yeah, okay, sorry to see you go. Within 2 hours of me putting my resignation in, I had my manager call me going, the owner of the company wants to have a meeting with you tomorrow morning. We can't let you go just like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, ended up talking a deal with him because I had the courage to say, look, this is what I don't like about the place. This is what you need to fix. If you want me to stay, this has got to happen.
Yeah.
Um, and I think me being on Twitch has probably been a big help in me being able to do that.
I
Just the
agree.
fact of being able to talk to people.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Like obviously when I left school I didn't like talking to anyone, but when I first got into a job, when I was with Audi originally, that was sort of when I started getting a little bit more confident talking and stuff because I knew what I was talking about. So like when you have the knowledge and you know what you're talking about, it makes it easier to express yourself, I think. So if you it's the same as anyone. So if you sit down with a astrophysicist, right? And the astrophysicist knows everything about everything there is to do with physics and astronomy, and you know nothing about it, right? And they ask you a astrophysics question, you feel intimidated to answer it because you're like, I think you're gonna judge me because you know everything and I know nothing, and
Yeah,
you feel
100%.
you feel like you're like backed into a corner because you're kind of like, okay, how do I get out of this? But with us, we've been doing cars and mechanics forever. We're probably the most overqualified mechanics there are on the planet. And when somebody asks us a question, we know the answer. And when we start talking about cars and we ask questions of like I find that it gets easier and easier to explain cars to people who don't understand them. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, I mean, I still struggle
yeah,
in a way that
talk
when I'm
too
trying to
technical
explain
sometimes.
something to someone about a car that knows nothing about cars,
Hmm.
finding the layman's term for something technical, like
It's true. It's true.
like if there was something say wrong with a CV joint, and like the customer asks, "Oh, so how's it wear out?" and you start going into all the specifics of it and start naming all the little intricate parts inside of it, it's just, yeah, talking to people and
Without trying to
trying
sound
to
like
dumb it down
yeah. You
so
don't want
that they
to
can understand.
patronize
I mean, it's
them either. This is the
yeah,
hard
it's
part.
it's not really dumbing it down, but it's putting it in terms they can actually relate to and understand. I struggle with
Yeah.
is obviously talking to all the boys and me being the head mechanic at my workshop. I have to teach everyone, so
Yeah.
I have to talk to them in all the technical terms.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. And it's kind of like hard to
Um,
get out of that. It's
yeah,
sort of
so that's
like
my
being able to
mindset.
read music and then trying to teach someone music. It's like that it's a disconnect. It's the same
Yeah,
thing. Yeah, I get that. I understand that too. Like I worked at front of house for Audi for a while. And I had to explain to customers why their cars are broken. And it's some and also they had to explain to me what the problems were so I could do the diagnostics and
oh
take it
yeah,
to the
that part's
mechanic.
the
It's
worst.
the most backwards Chinese whispers bullshit I've ever had to do. But
What I hate though, like,
yeah.
all right, for an
Oh.
example, I hate to be back on the topic of cars,
Oh,
but
that's okay. We always get back there. This is the way we roll.
I had to go on a road test with a customer for a noise in his car. He was complaining about a knocking noise,
Yeah.
and this was an older gentleman who is like an engineer, a mechanical engineer or something. Um, so he goes, "Oh, the noise is coming from the front of the vehicle." I'm like, "Okay, we'll go for a road test. We'll listen for it." On the road test, I hear the noise. So I go, "That noise is coming from the rear." He's like, "No, it's definitely coming from the front. I'm a mechanical engineer." Rah, rah. I'm like, "You might be a mechanical engineer, but I do this for a living, day in, day out. I know where this noise is coming from, and I can tell you exactly what part has failed.
Yeah.
And then, like, yeah, the arrogance of him was he was right, I was wrong, because he's obviously older.
Proud,
Um,
I think. Yeah.
yeah. And then my manager took over because I was getting a bit hot headed. And when I ended up fixing the car and they told him what was wrong with it and what the bill was, he's like, "Oh, so I was wrong." And then he came and apologized.
Yeah, well, that's being an adult too. Like,
Yeah.
being able to apologize for things that you're wrong about. I mean, especially.
But just the arrogance is what got to me.
Yeah, but there is people like that you're going to deal with in your life. Like,
I know.
in all walks of life, it doesn't matter what it is. Like, it could be the guy making you a sandwich. Like, I know more about sandwiches than you. I just want fucking chicken schnitzel and cheese, bro. Like, don't make it too complicated. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, let's just calm down. It is hard. I get that too. And you kind of sometimes you feel like you're on the back foot because you're like, I know I'm right, and this guy is pissing me off. Like, I totally understand that. I had to learn to be tolerant of people because of being in my own business. So
Yeah, that's a big thing.
So when someone said I'm wrong, I would just kind of like hold my tongue a bit. So I'd be like, look, so usually I would say, if I was working for someone, I would say, no, you're wrong. Like, but if I am working for myself, what I would say is, look, let me just look into it, have a look and see what it might be. And then I'd take photos and I'd work it out and I'd be like, this is what's wrong. And without saying I was right, you were wrong, I'd just be like, this is what was wrong. Here's the physical evidence of that.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm going to fix. You know what I mean?
I
So
mean,
like,
yeah, it's hard to kind of deny physical evidence, isn't
that's
it?
what I mean. Without rubbing it in someone's face or whatever. Like, I think that's kind of like, because sometimes I could be wrong. Like, there is trial and error. Like, it's the same.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like no one's right all the time.
No one's perfect, right? But
No, that's it. We're not robots.
But
And even then, robots aren't right all the time.
correct, because they're programming incorrectly. But do you know what I mean? Like, it just depends on the situation. But yeah, I understand like the whole having patience with people and stuff. Like, I think I've developed that during the business, and I've developed that more in life later in life. But I think what I was trying to get at, 3 conversations ago, is that with Twitch and with everything that we've been through from high school and from that point of, not having the confidence to say things and do things, I think has been an absolute, character builder for both of us. And I think we've come a long way. Like, even just from when we, prior to when we started Twitch, when we started together, basically, and went on this journey, I think that we both benefited from it in ways that we didn't realize we were going to. We just thought we were going to play computer games, right?
Yeah, that's it. Like,
we didn't think we were
never
going to
in a million years
relationships,
would I have thought that I would have made real life friends out of streaming on the internet.
Yeah, because you went and saw the FUDs that time, right? Like,
Yeah, and like I'm going to weddings from people who I met on Twitch.
I know.
Yeah, like
It's wild, right?
that's shit that's uncanny, and I never thought would even be a thing.
Yeah, me and Simon Schmalzy, me and him went to Wing House on the weekend.
Yeah, I saw the photos.
And had some beers. Like, I haven't been out in God knows how long. You know how long I've been stuck in the house for. Like,
Yep.
And to finally get out of the house and go and do something with an actual real person, is fucking insane. Like, it's wild. Like, and it's a gift, really, because like, prior to all this, like, I was just a gamer, just a gamer trying to make friends on the internet. And now we have a community of, I have nearly 2,500 people, 2,500 followers. We have 400 Discord members. The socials are growing. I talk to hundreds of people every day, like literally every single day. My DMs are just full, and I would have it no other way. I think it's great. This is going from someone who's like been answering phone calls for business prior to this, but prior to that, phone never rang. So like now my phone rings all day, and it's like sometimes it's overwhelming, but other times it's very rewarding. And like I really feel like for both of us, we've really benefited from all of it.
100%.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely.
Like, yeah, Twitch, as much crap as people do give Twitch, it is actually an amazing tool to bring communities together, to bring people together. And the best part about it is we've all got something in common.
Exactly.
So there's always going to be something relatable with every person.
Yeah. No, I agree. it's just, you know, I just never thought it would be like this.
No.
No. And for those of you who are streamers on Twitch, who are bigger streamers as well, power to you. Keep doing it. Keep doing what you're doing because you enjoy it, right? But for those of you who aren't bigger streamers, who are smaller streamers in the chat, keep doing it. If you enjoy it, you'll get there. Like literally, like both of us are still small streamers. We're not any big streamers by any means or any imagination. Like we are, but we still enjoy what we do, regardless of whether we have one person in the chat or 50. Like this is the whole point. Like keep doing what you're doing because you enjoy doing it. Don't do it because you think you have to do it for people. Do it because you want to do it for you, and then that benefits everyone else. That's really is the goal of it all, because we started doing it because we just loved video games, and then it became into a whole different other thing. Like, you know what I mean? It's a whole different animal because you have people that, you know, come in here every single day. They want to be here with you. They rely on you to be alive. Like, they're excited to come in. A lot of people come in here because of, you know, health reasons, or they come in here because this is their happy place. Other people come in every single day because this is where they say hello to their friends. Like, it's become something else entirely. But no matter what happens, and what happens with Twitch and what happens with online stuff, always basically just think of it as you created this, but it is now everyone's, okay? And don't do it if you don't enjoy it. Because if you're not enjoying yourself, the chat's not enjoying it either, right?
That's it.
So like when I have a bad day, and I've had a few, you guys know when I'm having a bad day, and you don't get excited, you don't vibe, you don't want to be here, you know, and I don't want to be here. Like, so we don't. We may as well not have streamed that day. But on days like this, where we have legends like Ragnar and on the stream, and I get to chat with, you know, some of my favorite people, it's fucking all worth it, eh? It's all fucking worth it.
What we do it for.
That's 100%, bro. 100%. We'll wrap it up a little bit, but before we do, I want you to give the chat the lowdown. I want you to give the chat the lowdown on what you have for the future. What are your goals for 2022 for streaming? What are your goals for 2022 for life? And look, what's the thing that's going to drive you? What's making you happy right now?
Shit. I haven't even thought that far ahead, mate. I don't think more than fucking a couple of hours. All right, goals for streaming this year. I mean,
let's make them right now.
Yeah, last year we hit 750 followers, which for me, that was huge.
Yeah, dude, that was huge.
So I'd like to hit at least 1,200 by this time next year.
Yeah, we can do that.
I think that's achievable. Sub count, I'm not worried about. That's not what I'm here for. I'm just here to vibe out, have fun.
Yeah.
Goal wise though, outside of Twitch, like for life goals, I want to hopefully buy a house at the end of the year. I want to stop renting. I want to actually have a mortgage.
Yeah.
As weird as that sounds, I want to have a mortgage. I want to have
more responsibility, he says.
Yeah. No, like I feel like having a place of my own, I can customize it the way I want it. I'll have a garage where I can actually fucking work on my car rather than having to drive half an hour to my parents' place to work on it.
Yeah.
And yeah, look, Sass and I both have been talking about wanting a house for a while now, and we don't want to get dogs until we have a house.
Yeah, I get that.
We both want dogs, so that's another goal.
Yeah, I guess with career-wise, then it's going to be mechanics for a little while longer.
Yeah. Look, I'll keep threatening them with the if shit doesn't change, I'm gonna leave. We'll see how long I can keep that shenanigan up for, and see what benefits I can get out of that. But yeah, in at least the next 2 years, I'll still be at the same job, and by then I would have been there for 10 years, so I get long service anyway.
Yeah, no, I totally get that, dude. Like that's, yeah, you got all the right things going on, and it's been a pleasure to be your friend all these years. It really has.
You too, mate. Fucking
yeah.
And many more years to come, hopefully.
100%. It's always going to be, and you know what the thing is, no matter where we go with all this stuff online, we did it together, you know?
Yeah.
We started together and we'll finish it together as well.
All right, I'm quitting now.
Yeah. Let's get off, fuck it. Look, stream in. No. No, I appreciate you very much for doing this, man. We've been needing to do this for a while, and it's a real good fun time, especially when I get to do it with some of my good friends. So, appreciate you very much, dude. Hope you have a really good week. Obviously, you're not streaming till Monday, so
yeah, Monday. Yeah, I don't even know whether I'll be able to chuck up a cheeky one on the weekend or not, but look, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
All good, man. All right, well, everybody, if you're not already following Ragnar AU, you absolutely must. It is a must on this channel. Like we said, we started this together, and I really appreciate everyone who could go and check him a follow, go and check out his next stream, follow him on all his socials, and I'm sure Ragnar will go ahead and post all these socials in the Discord. So that all of you can click all the links easily and go and head over and give him all the follows and hang out with him. And yeah, see what he's all about if you like what you saw today. So
appreciate it.
All good, man. Been a pleasure. I'll talk to you next time.
No worries, mate. Take it easy.
See you, dude. Bye.
See ya.
Easy. Good guy.